The Financial Survival Network, helping you survive and thrive in the new economy. Go to CarrieLutz.com and sign up for 30 free micro trainings on financial survival.
1490 WGCH. This is Carrie Lutz, and you're listening to the Financial Survival Network, which is brought to you by Miles Franklin. They've been in business selling gold and silver for over 20 years, and I'm a customer because when you buy, they ship. For more information, find them on the web at milesfranklin.com or give them a call at 800-822-8080 and get a free quote. We're all concerned about the stability, the safety, and the solvency of the banks, not just in the United States, but around the world. My next guests, John and Monica Miller, have written a book entitled Bank Holiday, and they've researched this. John's former Wall Streeter, financial analyst. He's got some interesting observations about the potential collapse of our banking system. John and Monica, welcome to the Financial Survival Network.
Hi, Carrie. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Great to finally connect with you two. I know we've had a common friend, Bob Chapman, who passed on recently, but we're both trying to carry on his work. We've written this book about the potential banking holidays, similar to what we had in the U.S. in the 30s. I guess it was right after FDR came into power, and you think it's going to happen again.
We do. We have a tremendous concern that if things keep going down this slippery slope, the way it looks like it's going to, it's unsustainable. Something's got to give. And just the way FDR took away everybody's gold for $20 an ounce and then repegged it for $30, it created a 70% reduction in people's buying power. And we're quite concerned that inflation is going to become hyper, and it's a hidden tax on the people. If they keep going in the direction they're going, that loaf of bread is just going to be too expensive for you to purchase. We don't have a good feeling about what we see in America.
Both of you aren't in America any longer, are you?
No, we had an investment club in Hawaii, and we had a radio talk show. And what we found to be the most overwhelming concern and question is, where is it? Where are the banks the safest? Where is my money the safest? And we did a lot of research to see where is that magical place. And what we found is Australia is, in fact, the richest country on the planet with essentially no debt. They have a very sophisticated banking system, and we came here, we investigated just how difficult is it to bring your money over here, and we were pleasantly surprised to find that they have these custodian firms which are not able to take your money the way MF Global stole their investors' money. All you need is an advisor, and you can buy CDs that pay 4% for the year. You can get that out in 30 days with a $10 wire transfer. You can get your IRA over here, which no broker in America will ever tell you, but it's perfectly legal to take your IRA and put it into a New Zealand or a Australian custodian account and make more money and get it out of harm's way. So
let me interject a little bit. On the IRA, you have to basically you have to become your own custodian. It is legal. It's a loophole in the IRS code, and we are trying to tell people in the book how you can do it, because in our opinion, we think the first thing the government is going to do before the banking holiday is to try to take our IRAs and convert it into a government annuity that pays 3%. When inflation at that time will probably be 20 or 30%.
So the Australian banks, what type of capital do they have in these banks, and how badly will they get hit if the U.S. and Europe go down? But
the banks in New Zealand are very large Australian banks, and they're very, very strong. They're not guaranteed by the government. At least they're not now. In 2008, when we had the banking crisis, the government of Australia did step in and guarantee all savings accounts. But then after the crisis leaves and the government backs off. So they are very safe, although if we did have a worldwide banking collapse, probably those banks would close their doors too. The custodian essentially is a hybrid between a bank and a brokerage firm. Essentially, a custodian doesn't have any liabilities.
And no debt.
It has no debt. All it has is assets, which are basically investors' money. So if we did have a worldwide banking collapse, what we're recommending in the book is that people have 1/3 gold and silver, 1/3 Australian dollars so that they can pay their bills, and then 1/3 gold and silver stocks. And you want to stay with the blue chips like Newmont Mining, Agnew Eagle. That's basically it. So if there was a major collapse, your cash could be in trouble, but the other 2/3 of it would be safe.
The other thing to take into consideration is that Australia and New Zealand never got caught up in the derivatives scandal, so they never got themselves into trouble the way so many of the other banks did in the all over the planet, basically.
Sure.
And the other thing is that Australia has so many natural resources. It's just loaded with every possible gold, silver, titanium, you name it, they've got it. That's why they're so rich. And the countries that are still growing and moving have to have those resources. So Australia is never going to do as badly as the rest of the world.
Yeah, if you want to have the modern conveniences and all of our electronics and everything else, you've got to have what Australia is producing, obviously.
Right.
So you think it's going to get so bad in the U.S. that a move to Australia or New Zealand, you think that's advisable?
Well, okay, I'll take this one. We're almost like the Dolans. Remember the old Dolan radio show?
Sure.
He's too young.
I remember.
That's why I always let Monica do the talking, because whatever I say is going to be not correct.
Well, join the club.
Right, exactly. Let's see. So what was the question?
Do you think it's necessary to get out of Dodge?
Yeah, okay. That's one of the chapters, how to get out of Dodge. We think no, it's not necessary for the American people to jump into a plane like we did and come over here. Because, we basically laid it out in the book exactly what we did when we came over here. So you can just read the book, or you can, on the ebook, we have it online or so. But it's from A to B. It's very, very simple. You essentially the American people should diversify their holdings and get some of the money out. I mean, people, they don't know us. I mean, I've been a broker advisor for 45 years, like Bob Chapman, 50 years. We've been around for a while. Essentially, you're going to have to basically trust somebody. Get some of your money out, maybe even 1/3 of your money out of America, because there's another topic that we talk about, capital controls. When countries get desperate, they do desperate things. As more and more money is flowing out of America, which it is, because you can get 4% on your money over here, and over in America, you get nothing. So many, many people are sending their money over to Australia and other countries that pay higher dividends. So eventually, the U.S. government's going to come in and do capital controls, which means that you can't get any money out of America. So in the book, what we try to say is, okay, if you get your money over to Australia and you change your mind, you can always bring it back. But if we have capital controls, you can't go the other way.
But having said that, there are a lot of opportunities for educated young people in Australia and in New Zealand. And when you consider the amount of kids coming out of school with $100,000 in debt for tuition and absolutely no jobs to be had, take that degree and get yourself over to Australia or New Zealand and at least start making a decent living so you can pay off your loans and maybe send money back to mom and dad.
Sure. So they're looking for qualified people there. They have a shortage of them.
Yes. Well, particularly in the mining industries, there's such growth that they just can't fill all the positions. So there's a lot of opportunity. But basically, they're looking for young, well-educated, healthy people. And if you go onto the Australian, New Zealand immigration websites, they actually list what is in demand right now. So for people who can't find that job, hey, the door's wide open here.
Yeah, it sounds like it makes a lot of sense, other than the fact that they drive on the wrong side of the road there.
Let me tell you, that was tough in the beginning. But, like anything, you follow the guy in front of you and you'll be all right.
That's great. In the book, I mean, I agree with you. I see capital controls down the road. I see a bank holiday because these so-called too big to fail banks, they're a proxy for the U.S. government. So to say that the U.S. government is too big to fail, I think misses the point that they already have failed. They're just like another zombie bank because the entire financial system is backstopped by the U.S. government. And it's only because there's no alternative to the U.S. dollar that this whole chimera, if you will, keeps on marching ahead to eventual doom.
I don't see any way out. I feel like it's like the last death throes of the bell curve, that there's no way to turn this freight train around at this point.
You know, Carrie, we wake up every morning saying, when is it going to happen? We've been over here for 3 years. You know, we got so bored waiting for it to happen that we wrote the book. You know, and now we're saying, okay, it has to happen. And we wake up and we watch the price of gold and everything. But one thing we have to tell your listeners or advise your listeners: if you have a choice of a dollar bill or a gram of gold, you want gold. We don't know if the banking holiday is going to happen. We said in the book 70% chance, but get some gold. Go to your local dealer and get some silver, and then have some cash. And you need a certain amount of cash to pay your bills, but get your account over here and don't put it in a bank. That's what we did initially. We put it over here in ASB Bank, which is a very large Australian bank. But, we don't even trust the banks, even over here. We don't trust the banks, period. But get your money into a custodian, then the custodian can pick the strongest bank for you. And it can buy you IBM stock. It can buy you a Sprott ETF, gold in Canada, if you want to. But that's all I got to say. Monica,
the other thing that I wanted to mention is, for your listeners, our message in the book is that we, as an average middle-class couple, were able to write a book that's a very simple A to B manual for how anybody, even with as little as $25,000, can get their money out of harm's way. Because what have you got to lose? If you leave it in America, there's a good chance you're going to lose it all. If you put it here and you decide, well, I want it back, for $10 you can get it back overnight. If this does occur, what we're predicting, at least you're going to have something in a currency that's solid, which then you can turn around and put all that money into silver and gold, or put it into food if that's, your druthers. But at least we've given you an A to B way to save yourself and to save your family.
One last thing. Now, the Americans, if they have a savings account, they can go to bed on a Wednesday and wake up on a Thursday and have their dollar devalued by 50%. Okay, over here, the Australians would not necessarily devalue their Australian dollar. Now, they probably wouldn't. Now, that's a point that I didn't bring up before. Are the banks safe? No, the banks aren't safe, but the currencies are safer over here than it is over the dollar.
Got it. All right. If people want to learn more about you, where would they go?
Okay, well, they would either go to Amazon or the Amazon Kindle. We have it both at this point. The name of the book is called The Coming Banking Holiday. The Coming Banking Holiday. And our website is
www.banking, banking-holiday.com. Banking-holiday.com.
And the email is we almost sound like Bob Chapman.
Almost.
It's john@banking-holiday.com. This is our second radio show. First one, we got 400 hits, and we answered about 20 questions. If anybody has any questions as far as immigration or how to get the money over, we answer all emails, which is what Bob always did.
That's great, and that's what I try to do. I have to admit, every now and then I miss one, but it's important. We've got tens of thousands of listeners around the world. I hope that your message gets out because it's definitely legitimate fear. The system is on knife's edge. There's already a bank in Italy, BNI, that is having a so-called holiday, and it's important that you understand what a banking holiday is. It's like they're on holiday from paying you your money or giving you loans, but there's no holiday for you paying your debts. And
that's right. That's a good way to put it.
It's a very one-sided holiday. It's not what the holiday I was taught growing up. So thank you so much for coming on the Financial Survival Network. More information, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. We'll have a link to the book up there shortly. Again, good luck, and maybe I'll see you out in the land. I'll see you out in the land down under soon, one of these days.
All right. Doors open.
Okay, thanks so much. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.